Thank you for tuning in to kindafakeNEWS,
where we don't take ourselves too seriously.
And you can't fact check half of this.
That's right. It is the month of November. We first of all just want to thank everybody for tuning in every month. We always have crazy topics and tons of things to talk about. We always like to make sure you smile, learn, wonder, and go on this journey with us. So first, we just like to start off with thanking everyone that's been watching and listening to us. I want to make sure I introduce everybody. I'm your host and your holistic guru, Celina Bryan. And then we have our astrology savant, Saras Sanchez. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. And then we have our conspiracy head, Jarett Cicero.
What up?
What up? I'm excited. Everybody that's been watching us, keep doing it. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Of course, like, subscribe, comment, follow, the whole nine. You can also find us at www.turnitupproductions.com.
Turn it up.
Turn it up. That's with one P. Turnitupproductions.com. And Turn It Up Live makes this all possible and got us going. So we want to thank everybody first and foremost. Hope everybody had a great Halloween. I know across the country, weather was better than past years. So hope you guys got out and about. What did you guys do for Halloween?
I was just hanging out for Halloween, regular stuff, not too much. I didn't go out running around with trick-or-treaters or none of that kind of thing. I live out here.
I did. I even dress up with, even on the trick-or-treating day. Like, I will go out and...
What did you dress up as?
Ice Queen.
Ooh, so is it like Frozen?
I usually take on like my true form during Halloween. I'll tend to, if you ever notice my costume every year, it's kind of like my vibe at that time, my real vibe. So I
know,
always
right?
try to do something like how I'm feeling,
No, completely. I dressed up like for going out with friends, and I was like a classy witch, like kind of a vampire type looking witch, because I didn't want to go the ugly witch route. And then I left the hat in my friend's car, and like you can't have a witch costume without a hat.
You can't tell it's a witch. Yeah.
Right. So for actually trick-or-treating with the kids, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna be a witch then. I'm not even gonna bother putting the gown on. So I literally went into a like costume like bin that we have that the kids play dress up with, and just threw on like, I found like a sparkly red hat and like a green bow tie and like some weird looking sunglasses. I just threw it all on. I said, hey guys, like what do I look like? Because I didn't even know what I was dressing up as, so I wanted them to guess something. Yeah. And then like everyone got something different. I'm like, okay, I'll just say that I'm Hollywood. Like,
and the funny thing is with Halloween, you really could honestly throw on anything and say that it's a costume, because how many costumes really look like what they're dressing up as anyways? You just put some crazy stuff on and you're dressed up.
That's what I did. I just threw some random like makeup stuff on. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, do it.
Because at that point I was done with the party part of it. So
I literally glued glass pieces to my face.
That's cool. That's like some Gaga stuff.
Like it was like icy looking, you know what I mean?
That's cool. Oh yeah, I did see the pictures.
Is that like a Disney type of thing? Like ice cream?
No, it sounds like a play on it.
It was more so like sexy, you know what I mean? Like you see it in the movies, like the Ice Queens and stuff like that.
You're like the villain, like the ice villain. There you go. It's like the opposite of like Maleficent or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
love it. If I had to go back, I would have dressed up as a priest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're super tall. It'd probably look cool.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, we will get right into it. It's November. What do we have going on in the sky, Sarah?
Honestly, it's not great. No, I'm kidding.
I was all over the
bueno.
place.
I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding, but I'm also kidding. So decipher that. Okay, so I'm really only going to go over a few things because it just kind of sets the whole tone for the month. So the smaller things aren't really super, I'm not really going to touch on that. Plus we have some we have some really good conspiracy stuff. So I don't want to take up too much time, but so beginning of the month, this already passed, but you can already kind of feel the energies of this month coming. It was a new moon in Scorpio. So this is a time that is really forcing us to go inward and really it's like a reality check kind of vibe. Like it's a time that's going to force you to really get real with yourself and get to the core of any issues that you have going on, right? Like it's a time to examine what we thought we wanted versus what's actually best for our true authentic self at this time. So it's kind of just like raw reality check, go within yourself and get real with yourself kind of vibes. So it's not so bad, right? Right after that though, we have swipe that away. Right after that, we have Mercury enters Scorpio. So this is like super really heightened intuition at this time. It's a very cunning energy. It's not a super trusting energy. It's kind of this energy that says like there's this mental acuity, like this intuition, and it kind of says don't look for what you don't want to find. And if you do look, be prepared for what you find, sort of thing. Be prepared for the consequences of your actions. It's like consequences. It's like, if you don't want to dip your toes in, if you don't want the consequence, don't take the risk, sort
Within
of thing.
yourself.
I think that can manifest in different ways. Like with this talking about trust, it could always be, betrayal could always play a role in that, right? Or if you're thinking about trying something or doing something that you don't know if it's the right thing, it's kind of like, don't, unless you really want to find out, unless you really
not be what you want and the actual answer.
Exactly. So then towards the end of the month, we have so it's called the Beaver Moon. It's on the 19th. It's also a partial lunar eclipse, which is when part of the moon enters Earth's shadow. So these are, notoriously pretty intense. And this says
it's called a Beaver Moon.
Yeah.
Weird name. I'm sorry. I just had to wait a minute.
You know what I thought of. Yeah.
That's on the 19th.
So sometimes it's a blue moon, sometimes a red moon, but a beaver moon.
Beaver. Yeah.
Angry beavers.
Sorry, continue.
There's always like more than one name for it. Like it could, yeah.
It's a brown man.
Mad dumb.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. It's stupid. I think it's stupid. Okay, so it's basically, it says this is not a time for manifesting, which we already know anyways, really, right? Like new moons are more for intention setting, full moons are more for releasing, right? But this is kind of just emphasizing like this full moon, this towards the end of the month, it's really not a time for manifesting because you can have some really, it can get really volatile and there can be some blowbacks from it, really. So it's kind of like, so it exposes hidden histories, right? So kind of ask these questions like, how long have you downplayed your value? Who taught you how to compromise? right? And what is your worth, really, right? It also, it's this time that emphasizes paying old debts. So it really plays on like your self-worth, your abundance. What do you think you're worth, right? What do you think of yourself? How are you valuing yourself? Where are you compromising? You know what I mean? So it's kind of really forcing us to question our attitudes about ourselves, about materialism, about stubbornness, anything like that. And, you know, it really, we know that these can manifest in so many different ways, like it emphasizing paying old debts. This could genuinely mean like be a time that bills come up to bite you in the ass or something like that. Like things pop up that you forgot about. Or it could really be old karma. Like, you know, karma always comes back to settle up with you. What's it going to be about in your case, essentially? And so this really, really is kind of like, it's just like, it's about claiming whatever survives the inferno, essentially. It's like, it's really about everything is up for renegotiation in your life. It's one of those times that it's like, throw it into the fire, what stays, what goes, what makes it, sort of thing. So it's kind of this time about like really self-care, going in, what is worth keeping, what is staying, what is going. It's really more so a time of reflection than like, oh, I'm going to get out there and have this, you know, set this intention to start this new beginning and start this new project, right? It's really more of like endings, transitions, you know, reconsideration of things. So it's really just a contemplating sort of time, which it's not super terrible. Like these aren't, I mean, these obviously aren't like great. It's not like, ooh, November is super romantic cuffing season, you know, but it does really go with kind of how this weather is right now, you know, at least where we are, right? It's
my favorite kind of weather, man. This is hoodie season.
Yeah.
Oh, you like the
nice.
unexpected. It might rain, it might sleet, it might hail, it might snow.
Exactly.
Got your
And
hoodie,
it's almost
you know?
like it's
I
like you
get it,
have
yeah.
less daylight. You have less daylight. You're not out as much as you are in the summer. You're not like, oh, I'm just gonna dick around and be outside all day and go do this, and that. It's like you go out for what you need to. You go out when you make plans. You do what's important to you.
Right. You're not putzing around in the garden or something like that. Like
you're not going to be out there dicking around doing stuff that you really don't care about, because just the effort that it takes, and it turns dark at 5 o'clock, like it's colder out. You don't know if it's going to be raining or muddy, you know? So it's just,
and that's why all the new series start in the fall.
Yeah, it really is.
Stuck inside at night.
Right. And it's like, even for cuffing season, it kind of makes sense, because it's like, you're not going to be out there thotting around with everyone. You're just going to kind of cuff the one you like, you know what I mean? And kind of snuggle up and watch Netflix. You're not going to be out drinking and hanging out with a ton of people, you know? So it's just really that time for reflection, contemplation, what survives the fire sort of thing. So,
well, what I get out of there, so you said it's the 19th, you said, right?
Yes.
The full moon. So this is on a Friday, which I'm wondering, like, that's a lot of people's paydays. So you kind of mention like a materialistic, like you have to like make decisions, get real with yourself, with your root, and kind of like reevaluate yourself. And then you got like the payday, like, am I catching up on bills? Do I just want to go lavish myself? Like, and it's kind of like, do I know myself? I just thought that was kind of funny. But getting rid of
Christmas.
With
Christmas coming up, it's like, it's starting to be this like, okay, it's the end of November. Right. I don't have a lot of time to get all the Christmas gifts I need to do and do everything I need to do by Christmas. And it's probably a time that you start to question all of your habits. Like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I not the type of person that has my Christmas shopping done before November?
Right. Or like, am I going to like start shopping now a little at a time per paycheck, or do I just going to blow my paycheck on like my Tim Hortons coffee and stuff like that instead.
Right, yeah. And then it's like for anyone that doesn't feel like they make enough money or are paid their worth for what they do, like
to
that's the time
reevaluate.
that it's really gonna come up. And you're gonna like feel that whenever you have to spend a ton of money on something, that's the time, if you were gonna question that, that's the time you would question it. And Christmas is that big one.
Definitely.
That feels that way about.
Well, I think this really resonates with everybody between like, the shopping season coming up and then getting it all of your system before you see all your family on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yep.
Reevaluate yourself and get all your ducks in a row, because then you're about to see all your family, which my family is great, but I know a lot of people when they get around their family for the holidays, like everyone always feels judged, or the elephant in the room comes out, or
straight. What are you gonna say? What are you doing with your life right now?
right. So like you're getting ready for that like kind of family evaluation on top of
you're like, how am
yourself.
I doing right now?
Right. Well, you guys heard it first.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for the astrology review. We're going to move right on over to the holistic healing. I always like to give alternatives, and I mainly like to focus on holistic healing because there's a lot of people in not just this country, but this world who are over medicated. Doctors are just writing scripts, treating you like a pincushion. Well, it sounds like you might have this, so I'm going to write you 5 different scripts and we'll see what sticks and what doesn't make you go crazy, and so on and so forth.
They
So
write
I'm
people
definitely not
scripts
anti.
before they see them the majority of the time.
Right. They're like, oh, well, we're going to probably write you like a script for Adderall and a script for depression, a script for this. And like they go on and on and on. And then it sometimes takes people years of trying different things and, going through 3 months of like being psychotic from the different things they may have put you on, overprescribed you, gave you.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of that happen and be a lot of people's downfalls. So I always like to at least have people try a holistic approach before medication, or try something along with their medication. Maybe the doctor prescribed you this much, but you're going to take half of that and supplement the rest with something more holistic. Definitely, I'm not a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
Don't stop your regimen because you heard it on Kind of Fake News. The doctor will probably be like, you heard it on Kind of Fake News.
Yeah.
It just won't sound right. So
Same
but it's
medical
just something.
Advice, but
Yeah.
Jared's a doctor. He said it's okay.
Right.
So
sign this disclaimer.
I know, right? All you guys have to like to sign the disclaimer. So I was trying to figure out what topic I wanted to focus on, but I figured since it's Thanksgiving month and we're all going to be eating, it's also the fall. Everybody's having the pastries and the pumpkin pie. And I said, well, let's look at some weight loss stuff. And I'm like, let me find something easy for weight loss, not a specific supplement or, a pill or anything like that. I'm like, what's a very easy thing that will just curb your appetite? So I found 2 things that you guys can try to curb your appetite. The first one is something simple: celery. Celery is great for weight loss. And a lot of people are like, okay, yeah, it's healthy, just like all the other fruits and vegetables, healthy. But the thing about celery is, due to its dietary fiber content tied in with its low calories, and it being mostly water, your body burns more calories actually digesting it than the calories that it actually offers. So like a stick of celery is like 6 calories, and it takes like 19 calories for your body to burn that high fiber piece of celery.
Probably
so
doesn't
if you
work
eat celery all day, you're gonna not feel like full, like as if you ate something big, but you're gonna feel like you ate something, and your body's burning calories trying to digest it to begin with. So celery is a really good trick,
Does it not count if you put honey roasted peanut butter on it?
Well, I like to put peanut butter. I mean, there's your protein right there.
Put
so
peanut butter on everything.
Raisins.
Peanut butter is still good for you.
Ants
But
on a log.
Ants on a log. There you go.
Yeah.
And it's a good kid snack. So you can feed the kids, get yourself going, move around.
Oh my gosh, that's our favorite. Is like apples dipped in peanut butter, carrots dipped in peanut, and it has to be honey roasted. You guys have to try, if you haven't tried the honey roasted peanut butter. I think it's a Peter Pan brand. How do I not know? I buy it all the time.
How do I not know? No, I've had it before. It's good. I haven't had it in a while, but all peanut butter I love. So
I can't eat regular peanut butter anymore. It's not the same.
Like once you go honey, you can't go back.
I will go without peanut butter before I'll get regular peanut butter.
Fucking A.
So celery on the go, easy to remember. It's not like you have to go to a holistic store and search through the aisles for some specific bottle. Celery. So my second thing is, well, everyone is like familiar with THC with weed. And it's not specifically THC, because actually THC, if you think about it, weed gives you the munchies, it makes you want to eat more, it makes you gain weight, So you would think, no. So, okay, normal THC increases your appetite. But what you're going to look for is THCV. So THCV is an appetite suppressant from the Delta 9. So what it does is I'm going to actually read this so I don't mess it up. So on top of it giving you energy, it regulates glycemic controls, glucose metabolism, and it's extracted from the weed plant. So it's kind of like how CBD is a part of marijuana, but it's extracted from it. The same thing as THCV. Studies proving people who smoke THCV statistically are thinner than people who just smoke regular weed. What it does is it blocks the CB1 receptor. So the CB1 receptor is known to stimulate appetite, which regular weed does. So it blocks the CB1 receptor. And it also doesn't get you high, just like how CBD doesn't really get you high. So it also helps with other things like diabetes. It gives you energy. And there was a lot of studies done on it back in like 2009 to kind of show this, but more studies have been done on it now that it's getting legalized everywhere, weed in general. But so if you look for the THCV, similar to like CBD, in the way that you can buy it and it's used and how it doesn't get you feeling high, is appetite suppressant. So you can look for those on the shelves. I'm sure they have it in pill form, gummy form, all that.
Right.
Yeah, that's just becoming a lot more popular. I think even in regular cities and towns now, there's stores that are selling regular pot and edibles and all that. I know they do it here on the res, but I'm talking like within the city limits. There's places you can go for all of that.
Yeah. So it's not going to be that hard to find. So THCV. Yep. And then anything else you guys want to know about it, I'm sure there's documentaries out there and tons of other information on it. But in general, marijuana, it's already been proven time and time again that it doesn't have any bad effects. So THCV and celery. There you go for your post Thanksgiving.
That's it.
You said what?
I said except for panic attacks. That's it.
For sure.
Well, it might not affect you the same way CBD, because some, like if CBD, for example, gives you panic attacks. Well, first of all, just because weed gives you panic attacks doesn't mean CBD will. But even if CBD doesn't mean THCV will. So it just depends on your body. Everybody's body is different. So
I find personally,
and it's typically only the sativa, not the indica strains, right?
Sativa would be more likely to spin you out. Yeah.
Right. Sativa is something people more would like smoke if they're trying to like clean the house or move around. And then the indica is more like relax, have it at night, get ready for bed, things like that. So
I remember I tried a while back because I can't smoke weed. And so I tried, someone was like, try the indica. You know what I mean? Just try. You know how people are like, just try it. Like, what the fuck do you need me to smoke weed for? You know what I mean? Like,
because everybody's like, hey, I love it. You should love it too.
Yeah. You're like, do it with me. I can't enjoy it. Let's do it with me.
It's a community activity.
Right. Yeah. So
I don't smoke weed either. So I mean, I get where you're coming from, but it's like I wish it didn't affect me negatively the way it does, so I could partake in this community activity.
Right. True. Yeah, you get a little FOMO, but so I tried the indica, someone's weed pen, and I was like, this is okay. I don't know if I feel anything. You know what I mean? Like I was having low back pain at the time, so I was like, okay, I think it's helping. I'm like, I'll smoke a little bit more. I'll smoke a little bit more. And I'm like, I'm not having like an instant anxiety attack. Well, the next day, without checking what cartridge they had in there, I went ahead and just smoked some of their weed pen again, assuming that the indica oil was in there. It was sativa, apparently, because I took one hit and I took like a big one. I was getting like comfortable with it. You know what I mean? I was like, you know, immediately my fucking palms started sweating. My hands started shaking like this. And it's like something that's not controllable, but I literally, everything I'm doing, I'm like this, like everything on my body is fucking shaking.
I completely understand.
As soon as it's like I inhaled it and it was like, and my heart fucking just starts pounding and everything is fucking scary. I don't even know how, but like,
did you ask him what it was? Did you think it was not weed after you hit it?
She thought it was indica. She didn't know it was sativa.
It was sativa. Yeah, I thought it was indica. And but I've had this same effect from all different types of weed. At first, the first time it ever happened, I'm like, that was some fucking weed. What was that shit? Like, was that some fucking PCP or some shit? Like, I thought, but it was just weed, and it never affected me like that before that. But all of a sudden, one day that started where my heart starts racing. Everything seems scary and like disorienting. Like my own face scared me looking in the mirror.
Me and Sarah share a lot of similar.
Like, why does my face look like that?
Well, I've lost my personal love for weed because of those reasons. As I got older, it turned into like a 50-50 thing. You know, you don't know if you're gonna.
The stuff nowadays is so
like it or
different.
like it, you know. So, but see, I like CBD a lot too. And I think that gets slept on personally, but that could just be me individually. But I feel like I feel CBD when I use it. And I also feel like it's the absent piece. Like if you just have strict THC without the CBD, it's not like, it's not the regular type of weed, you know. Regular weed has all of those things that you mentioned in the review all in one, you know. As we move forward in the future, they're all getting divided, and you know.
That's weird, right? It's not like you can just smoke a leaf like you used to, you know, like smoke a bud.
We're getting to that age where it's like back in our day. Weed was just regular old weed. You didn't have to ask what kind it is.
Remember when the weed was brown? Like, looked like you peeled it off the bottom of a lawnmower or some shit.
Right.
That's why people could like sell you fake like lawn trimmings and try to pass it.
Oh my gosh. Kids one day
oregano.
Kids really one day aren't even going to realize what weed looks like anymore, or like the meaning of the weed leaves. Like it's going to have no meaning to them.
Like 20 years from now, everyone's gonna have like their, you know, all their weed gummies and stuff.
So what's gonna happen to the culture?
Pull out like a joint, and they're gonna be like, "What the hell is that?
What is that shit? What's that dirt?"
When we were kids, I remember seeing pot leaves like drawn all over the place. Anywhere you went, there was a pot leaf on a picnic table, on a building,
because it was taboo.
People were so obsessed,
and now it's just like corny to draw it. Like.
It's like just not even like,
right. Yeah. Well, that is my holistic review. It turned into a whole pot conversation. But we're gonna move right along into our conspiracy piece with our conspiracy head, Jarett LaCicero. What do you have for us? I'm excited because I didn't ask him ahead of time what it was, so I'm going to be just as surprised as everybody else.
Oh, I did. I got a little bit of a peek. I'm excited, scared, excited, scared.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's really cool. I've always wanted to get into like the rap conspiracy Illuminati type of stuff, you know, but a lot of it goes back into the 90s and then up until present. So I have a reason to do it for this month because just a few days ago there was a huge tragedy at the Astroworld Festival of Travis
I
Scott's in
saw
Texas.
that.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of videos about this yet online. There's a little bit of obscure information throughout the conspiracy theory community, but just from knowing about this sort of stuff, the concerts, the hip hop, even country music, how they put all the symbolism and craziness within the videos or within their performances, I was able to watch and look at the news, you know, and kind of infer for myself that this is exactly what that is, you know. So there's been 8 deaths to about 300 injuries at this point. And there's a lot of weird ways we could start it as to why it's this. So we could start with simply just the stage, right? Let's go with the stage. It's one thing to have obscure symbolism, but when it's to the point of where this literally exactly looks like how you would imagine a satanic type of sacrificial
Like
something, you know,
right.
it's like, this isn't biased because I love rap music 100%. I love Illuminati, Tupac, like all of that stuff. I live and breathe it. You know what I mean? So I'm not like calling this stuff out.
You'd be
bad,
the first to
but
like
I don't know what's
defend
up with
you know
it.
what I mean?
You know. But yeah, it literally all of this symbolism, right? So
right. And
somewhere
it's
on
getting more
there,
prevalent throughout time.
you know, it says up on there, "See you on the other side," as it turns
Yeah.
into this portal that is it's a symbol for the triskelion, the pedophile community, you know, that circle, the circle that like gets you into a daze or into a trance. That's the same symbol that is the portal to hell, right? Astroth is the Duke of the Devil, the second in command of the devil, right? This is Astroworld, based off of Travis Scott's some sort of make-believe land that he came up with. But every time he starts the show, he says something like, you know, he wants people to arrive to heaven, but unfortunately right now we're in hell and you're about to come to hell with me. So to speak in that kind of language to your audience,
and
it
to like
doesn't reflect in the music, right? And the music is
isn't it crazy how much you can fucking get people to accept some fucked up shit just because you hype it up? Just because Travis fucking Scott said it at the beginning of his concert and everybody's pumped up. It's like they literally are like, meh, okay, you know, well, like try it out.
We're at a concert too. To do that. And we're at a concert, thousands of people. This is a stadium. It's not a 1,000 people show. This is a fucking football stadium full of people. It was past capacity. He's going on all his social medias demanding that people break in. The law enforcement's like, yo, we can't do this, crowd control and all that. If you just look at the information yourself, it seems like those in charge of the concert wanted this to happen. Not even in an obscure way. It's like you, for weeks ahead of time, you were telling people to break in, you know. And then there's eyewitnesses accounts of the people that are there, diehard Travis Scott fans, saying that they now not only renounce him because of the deaths, but just the artwork of the show in its entirety.
When they went in there, it wasn't what they thought it would be.
And who literally
and the music doesn't reflect
people to break in. You know what I mean? So that they can disrupt it for fans who actually paid for their ticket, like the trash. You know what I mean? Like break into this fucking stadium, break shit, fucking burn it to the ground.
And think about
like
old shows,
mob mentality. But Jarett, you said, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you said that people didn't feel that that message reflected his music.
Well, if I'm as a hip hop fan, if you listen to his music, you know, it's the more modern, like get loose, hyped up, you know, drugs, sex, and rock and roll type of shit. It's not the gritty message or
like
hardcore
subliminal messaging really throughout it.
Well, yeah, and it's not like conscious music or any of that. It's more of the party type of music. But if you listen to the sonic sound behind the lyrics, right? It's a lot of eerie sounding shit, and you can hear
we talked about that
screams.
in past podcasts.
Yeah, and it just sets a tone, right? So the beyond all of the symbolism, crazy shit, numerology, the dates, the time that he was sending out text messages, and all this, the 6s and 18, all 18s, all that type of stuff that people will, you know, decipher soon, that I'm sure. It's all there. Drake was there. Kylie Jenner was there. It was Kris Jenner's birthday. So it may have been some sort of blood sacrificial ritual in that sense. I counted 8 flames shooting up into the sky. There's 8 deaths. Now, this is that type of stuff that always lines up at like these mass shooting incidents or the entertainment incidents or whatever. So all throughout the week, he's telling people to come, putting out messages saying it's not a mosh pit if people don't get injured, like saying like really fucked up shit, right?
Trying to promote like get crazy, cause chaos.
Right. And this is exactly what starts happening. It's overcapacity. People start fainting from so much pressure, which causes everyone to start panicking. It goes nuts. That's how 300 something people got hurt and a few died. Then there's these other accounts that there was like mass provocateurs, like we've talked about in politics, going there with needles full of heroin, and were attacking people with them. And they know it was heroin because they narcaned the people that fell out and brought them back.
One of the security guards, they had to narcan him, and he had
a needle. 14-year-old.
And they said similar to someone trying to.
A 10-year-old got injured there. But yeah, the security guard got it in the neck, and there was a 10-year-old that was injured. I think he was trampled. I don't think he was hit with any narcotics.
Yeah, the 10-year-old was trampled. I think there was a 14-year-old that had heroin in her system.
Well, how do you get to? I mean, I remember one of my first concerts was a Wu-Tang show, and I was maybe like 17, and we all seen like this 11-year-old kid like chilling with his grandpa. His grandpa brought him to the Wu-Tang show, right?
That's what's up.
I don't think anything would have ever happened to that kid there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you go to like this side of shit, it's like they're promoting craziness, right? So there's points within the concert where it's quiet and Travis Scott's on stage. You can watch all of these account videos. You can tell that he hears people from the crowd screaming, "Stop the show." People are dying. People are jumping up onto the stage telling him to stop the show. And then they leap off in a way where one would say they may be demons, right? The people that are into this type of conspiracy shit, like the reptilian humanoid shit, you know, whomever he may be working for within this hierarchy, if they're controlled beyond people, they were there. There's videos of like these weird demonic creatures crawling around like the stage and shit. Wait,
so like the fans who went up on the stage then leaped down, like
I don't know if those were fans. It looked like there were people at work letting him know that everything's happening like it's supposed to be happening, because the song that he's singing while people are screaming in agony and dying, and the shit that he's saying at the same, like they clearly know there is a huge fucking issue, and they're going on with the show, and security is stopping people from saving people. And this is eyewitnesses accounts of the fans that were there saying that this had all happened.
Do you know, like, is there a specific song he was singing during that moment where like everything was?
I don't know his music by song name, but these were the videos that I'm watching, and he's on stage singing the music.
And the actual lyrics are eerie.
And the videographer is on the stage with him, can hear the crowd. Like, you know how loud those speakers are in a fucking auditorium, and you can hear the crowd screaming, people are dying. Like, it sounds like agony. It sounded like hell in the crowd.
You can tell it's not just happy fans being like, yeah, you know.
No,
Right.
it's definitely like a travesty in the sense of where you don't even know what was happening. Like if that were me on stage, like, or you, or
Like,
any one
there's
of you
no
guys,
way.
I'm sure you would be like, yo, we need to stop
What's
this show
happening?
right now. And then if
Right.
you
Yeah.
go back to old rap shows, when this type of stuff would happen, right? The performers would almost like hang their heads down and like walk back and forth, and then they say like a prayer and like this kind of like subliminal message, like you need to watch yourself, there's something bigger than you working, like not the type of shit that you would say at like an accident at your show. It's almost
Right.
like revealing a jewel subliminally, you know.
Right.
And
That's
Right.
so
he's went
well,
on to
also, well, I was just thinking about when I saw this on the news, it made me think of, so the first concert I ever went to was 50 Cent concert. I don't know, I was like 15, 16, something like that. And you know, I'm really thin and small, and I'm in the like the lawn area against the gate. So the gate goes like up to like your chest, and that's the whole lawn area. And if you're in the front of the lawn area, you're right against that gate. And then in front of the gate, you can just see all like the seating area and then the stage. So the gate's here, all the whole crowd's behind me, and then you know the gate's all lined with people. So I'm against the gate so I can get the best view possible in the lawn area. And whatever song came on, everybody got real hyped, and everybody behind me was being pushed forward, and I was getting crushed
get
into
crushed.
the gate
Yeah.
with pressure. And like at first it was like whatever, like I'm getting bumped, it's a concert. But then I remember for a split moment, I'm like, I'm getting crushed so bad. I'm like, if they don't stop, like this is gonna be like a real issue, because the gate was too heavy for me to like push it over, it to fall over. And I'm getting pushed into this thing. Luckily, like it, you know, calmed down, but I got really scared for a split second, like, you know, I'm about to get crushed. So I can understand what that fear is when you have no control over, there's just too many people. You know,
Well, from what was
You're
said too,
literally suffocating from people.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it was said that the security was acting in a way so the crowd maintained this behavior. There was VIP sections where other fans were trying to pull people in to relieve the pressure. Security guards in the middle would snatch them and throw them back in. Like, and you watch these videos, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Like, why
Because
would you do that?
everyone is aware that everybody is dying except the people that are working for Live Nation, apparently. Like,
Right.
it's
That's
weird.
crazy.
And then you go into Live Nation and they've got, you know, the whole bunch of conspiracy shit behind them as well. You know,
Probably all the
everything.
different rap concerts, like you said.
Yeah, and it's not just rap concerts either, right? It's also country concerts, and then they're merging rap and country, right? So if people would like to check out one of Lil Nas X's, you know, some of his latest work, you know, he tends to combine those two types of sounds. The
Yep.
videos for his music is literally I'm selling my soul and fucking Satan. Like that's what you see in the art of however it is. I don't want to like break down the video, but like that's what it is. He sold his soul, and that's
There's been a lot of that in music videos, even like in pop. Like I remember a lot of Katy Perry videos, a lot of Super Bowl stuff. That it's getting to a point where it's so obvious,
like
but nobody's talking
all
about
the
it.
Music.
Like, why isn't it on news stations? Like, why isn't it being talked about by any of the other media? You know?
I mean, a lot of times, you know, these artists are like politicians in their own right too, because they have a voice in the ear of those that either rebel against politicians or would just rather listen to the entertainment instead of the news. You know how sometimes people divide in that way,
Right.
You know? But
right. I've been trying to figure out, like, a lot of these things we talk about, a lot of these conspiracies, like when you put them all together, well, first of all, we don't know if they're all connected or not. Second of all, if they are all connected, like what is the outcome that they're trying to get to with causing chaos, with controlling the masses, with subliminal messaging, Like now with like the vaccine stuff, a lot of the thought process behind that is population control. Like when you wrap all this stuff up into one package, what do we think is like the end game?
I know.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, me, pick me.
Sarah knows. What is it?
So essentially, I think that honestly, like, you know, my thoughts on like heaven versus hell. Is it heaven versus hell, or is it heaven versus earth? Right? Because earth is, you know, a lot of my belief is that earth is what can be hell, right? Earth, you can bring heaven on earth, or you can have hell on earth, right? It's a place where our manifestations come to life. Earth is a like you've heard me say before.
Would there be a lower vibration than Earth then? Or is Earth the bottom and we can manifest from there and then level up? Or is there space below the Earth?
I don't, I think that on Earth,
I think Earth's the middle
so
plane.
negative. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever felt like you're in a living hell? You know what I mean? Like you're creating your own hell and you are living it. And they talk about karma. Like maybe that there isn't necessarily like a hell, but there's karma, and you can be living a hell on this earth. And the thing that I think is that it's not necessarily this big thing, like they're trying to pull us down, or there's this end goal that's different from what it is now. I think that what happens is when you don't have those fucking sacrifices and the shit that they say in rap and the shit that they put in the music videos and the subliminal fucked up messages that they have, if you were to take that all away, think about how healthy, high vibrational, balanced, literally like 5D vibrational our spirits would raise. We would be autonomous. We would not be controlled by the government. We already are. Okay. So that's like, it's like, what's the goal? No, they already have it. They're maintaining it is what they're trying to do. Because when they do all this fucked up shit and they elicit all this fear and they put out all these negative vibrations, it holds us down from ascending to higher vibrational things, making better choices, being balanced, manifesting from a higher, because once you're in a high vibration, your manifesting power is like boundless. Like you can manifest a beautiful fucking world, right?
Right.
But when you are pulled down, when you're thinking the thoughts that those rap songs, the shit they sing, the music videos, the thoughts they're putting in your head is just simply not high vibrational. It's not balanced.
Right.
It's
a lot of that music
romanticizing
on
pain
material,
right,
on earthly things, ego,
temptation,
and a lot of it's having to do with your day to day, your physical, your materialistic, your ego, all of that. When the opposite end of the spectrum is understanding yourself, understanding the universe, and that vibration you're speaking of. So it's literally trying to pull us in the opposite direction of self.
And it's crazy how that works through sound, right? Because when you're listening to music, not that I love like happy songs, of course, and like great, like cool, groovy stuff. But if I'm gonna be honest, the majority of at least rap that I listen to, even if it's conscious, still the content within what they're speaking out against or talking about, it's still all about, not the greatest type of shit,
Exactly.
But it also comes with a beat and a sound and a rhythm that you're kind of more attracted to, because it gets like things going,
romanticizes your own personal hell. Like it romanticizes pain, trauma, fear. And that's how they keep people in it. Because if you just simply were to track that, imagine where we would go as a humanity. Imagine how connected. And think about it. Like I've thought about this a lot before, where it's like the times that I've felt high vibrational, where you literally feel connected, tapped in, like tuned in, tapped in, turned on, like you are in love with the world, with everyone. Like, you're not holding a grudge against everyone. You honestly want the best for people. The more that I've stepped into that as I've aged, like, the more beauty that I've stepped into, the more you realize, like, holy shit, people can go their entire fucking life and not know and not feel that heavenly, nice, or just love feeling, that high vibrational feeling where literally the majority of your life you don't fucking feel it. People don't fucking feel it. And what
People
they're
don't
doing
realize there's
is,
so many people out there not. You ever like had someone say like you say like, oh, I'm proud of you, and they're like, no one's ever told me that. There's like just
Right.
simple things like that. There are people who don't have never experienced like real love. There's people who have never experienced like what it's like to have unity.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like these things that
And-
you just think like is everywhere. These powers prey on those that have something negative to beat off of because
exactly.
that person doesn't have the positive vibrations around them. That's why as a community we need to not just be about ourselves. We need to, you know, spread the love. And it sounds corny. It sounds corny, like love is power,
right.
spread the love. Like it seems simple, but it's
when you really realize how
happening.
powerful and fucking serious it is, you know what I mean? And like the thing, here's what I think, because we've talked about before how I've talked about, you know, the translations of words in the Bible from the different languages have given it a very different meaning. And that one of the things is that apocalypse actually means a slow, steady increase of light until the darkness is gone. I feel that the earth is becoming more high vibrational, period. I think that shit's always been there. If you look back throughout history, shit like this has always happened. What I think is happening is we are more higher vibrational. People are seeing shit and calling it out. The light is getting shine on this shit that's been happening always. I mean, you see it all throughout history. I don't think that it's this big thing trying to come to a head or do so. I think that the light's getting shine on it. People are smarter. People are wiser. People stand up and say, what the fuck is this? Hold this person accountable, kind of thing. Like,
what
I think
happens is we end up getting in our own way, though.
Right.
We become high. See, the thing is have you ever met a really dumb, smart person?
Yeah.
There's people out there that are so intelligent, but they use
feel
it
like a dumb,
in the
smart
wrong
person all the
way
time.
themselves. You know, you said what?
What?
I feel like a dumb, smart person all the time.
Well, sometimes like, we're smart and we are enlightened and we know a lot about something, but sometimes we get in our own way. Like you see that happen with a lot of people. There's people that like have tons of money and squander it. For someone poor, you look at that and you're like, you know what I could do with that money? But it's just because they didn't have the intellectual backing to be able to do something with it. Or someone who's, you know, like an idiot savant. Like you might be brilliant in one thing. Like you see like a lot of like nerds growing up. Sure, they can probably rebuild a computer and redo binary code, but they don't know how to get a date. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You lack somewhere.
I genuinely think that this earth is in it because that's all about balance, right? Like if you're too much in one area, but you're not balanced in this area, your life still isn't balanced, right? That's why you see a lot of it where people can have so much success, but their personal relationships fail, or their personal relationships are great and they have this great sense of community, but they're in poverty. And I think that we're genuinely evolving as humanity into people that are able to be in more balance, right?
I feel like we're devolving because we think, I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like we're devolving because we think we're so damn smart. Because we don't allow ourselves to say, you know what, I don't know.
I think there's a community of people that
let me look
are
up for
evolving.
the answer and question more, and understand and realize I don't have the answer to everything. Versus a lot of these people that are like, I know everything and there's nothing left to know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like there's a
and I think that's part of balance too. You know what I mean? Knowing they say the wisest people know that they don't know anything at all. You know what I mean? Like that's really, you know, being wise is knowing that whatever you do know is only the tip of it. And there's always another perspective, right? So I always like you pick what story you tell yourself. It's always a story we tell ourselves about anything that anything that's happened to us in our lives. It's like, what story are you telling yourself about it? You know, did that person dump you and ruin your life, or did that set you free and is the greatest blessing of? It's always like, what story do you tell yourself, you know? And you just have to pick what story you want to tell yourself. I think that's really what it is. You know, what do you want to believe about what's happening, really?
And Jarett, you said what about community? You were saying something about in a community.
I think there's a community of people enlightened or becoming more enlightened or evolving in the sense of just ascension overall, right? And I think there is slightly more, maybe not de-evolution, but well, yeah, maybe some de-evolution, but there's definitely a system in place to keep one thing happening and stopping the other from happening.
Maybe that's the reason why it is. Maybe because so many people are becoming woke that there needs to be, like, on the other end of the spectrum, there's people trying to make like all this Illuminati stuff and power hungry stuff. They're working harder because they're seeing so many more people get woke, have opinions, and question that they're trying even harder and gaining more momentum on the opposite side of the spectrum, right, to fight that
you
light.
would think as more people become, ascend, I'm sure some others are going to descend, so then if you look at the output of information from like Illuminati or whomever is in control, it's becoming more powerful, more bold, more like you can just see it for what the fuck it is. And then there's the people that see it for what the fuck it is. And then other people that just fall right into whatever it is, You know what?
You know what that reminds me of? Do you remember the podcast that we did where we were talking about how, like, as the light increases, the dark things are going to throw everything they have at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like their last ditch effort. But I think that having faith in the light winning is super important. Like, just that things are going to end up good overall. And I remember it's so funny because it was one of these shows on Gaia. I love Gaia. And it was just something essentially saying that people who aren't members of that, or just not necessarily that show, but people just who aren't awake to what's going on and understand what we're going through, that it's going to get pretty difficult for them if they don't understand what's going on, because the negative agenda, these negative lower vibrations are going to throw everything that they have at keeping the vibrations low as the light naturally increases on the earth, right? Because it's kind of related to astrology too, where we went from the Piscean, era to the Aquarian era, or Aquarius, like, it's naturally light is pouring into the earth, and it's interacting with your vibration. It's, shadow work comes up. That's why I always say, whenever you're going through something really, really difficult, understand that you're releasing it. It's coming up to be released, to be resolved, to be processed, released, right? So anytime you're triggered, it's a good opportunity to release something. But as this light pours in, like when they say, like, when the Schumann resonance is off the charts, or these transits, that there's literally energies from these planets that come in and they interact with your energy in a way that triggers negative things to come up. And it makes kind of sense if you think about the way the planets can influence us, right? It makes sense. And I think naturally this is an era in evolution where the way that the energies are coming in and interacting with our bodies and interacting with our energy, that it's naturally waking us up and lifting our vibration. And one, that's going to get ugly because all the dark is going to come up. All your fear is going to come up. It's time. You have to face it at one. You have to feel it. You have to release it at one point or another. So I think that's kind of just in general, like metaphorically, the darkness is going to come all up and throw what it has at you before it goes away, essentially. So that definitely makes sense.
That reminds me of something that a pastor told me before, and I'm gonna comment on that, and then we're gonna wrap it up because I already know we're gonna take this conversation to the after hours. But they say, like, you know how a lot of people say, like, oh, well, you know, I'm a good person, I do all these things right, I go to church, I do this and that, and then bad stuff just happens. Why does bad stuff keep happening to me when I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing? And the response is that those who follow the light and keep doing right are going to get hit with the darkness more, because now you are more of a threat to the darkness because you are showing light. So you're going to get more darkness thrown at you than someone who's already in the dark, because you're already in the dark. Well, why would the devil have to tempt you? You're already down there. But when the evil sees you, and then it's metaphorically, like if you don't believe in the devil, you don't believe in this or that, whatever your interpretation of low vibration or evil or devil, the dark, whatever that is going to throw it at you even harder, because you're being a soldier now. It's just like in war, a soldier is going to get shot before a civilian, because the soldier is the one standing up for himself or standing up for its cause. You're going to be the focus of attack from the dark. So that's why when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing is when the hardest shit is going to happen in your life. When you are going exactly where you're supposed to be going is when it's going to get the hardest, and you have to get through it, through your trials and tribulations you've been through in your life, to prepare you for it.
Yeah. And I really think too, it's about people, knowledge is power, right? And I think a lot of people that wake up and their vibration increases, their heart opens, they're not always well equipped to handle being at that vibration. Because I think a lot of people, there are tools to protect yourself. You can pray for protection over your life. I absolutely believe in angels. I absolutely believe we have helpers in the subtle realms. I think we've all had an experience or two or more that prove that that's true, right? There is absolutely something on the other side, either helping or hurting, right? Who are you calling on? What energies are you calling on to protect your life? And everything is belief, right? They said with prayer, it's pray for what you want and believe that your prayer has been answered. And that's like that magic ingredient. If you doubt, that's the devil. If you doubt, that's just going to come right at you.
A lot of people don't understand faith.
They don't
ever pray and feel like you're more locked into certain prayers than others, right? So I pray a lot throughout the day, or in the car in the morning.
It depends on what's going on in your life.
And like, there's like different times. Well, even if I pray multiple times throughout the day, 4 days, you know, there's just times where like the prayer locks in more. Whereas if I feel like it is being heard, not that the other ones aren't, but nearly get like, you know, a sensation throughout the body, or you'll be in a specific place where it just feels right to do it at that moment, you know, and then you'll actually speak differently and pray differently. Maybe you'll do it out loud, or you'll just do it in your head. You'll hold a specific item. Who knows? But it just feels more like the right thing to do, opposed to the other prayers that you do.
Yeah.
Well,
these are just, I feel like that's a powerful thing within itself, because it's like, if you're praying, you're always really praying for something that you either want or need to be heard about or spoken. But then it's like when there's the feeling associated with it, you know, then it's almost as if you know that's the right one, you know.
It validates it for you.
Yeah.
I don't want to like start a rant and for this to go too long. I know we're trying to wrap up, but Joe Dispenza, literally, it's so funny the way that you said that, Jarett, because Joe Dispenza, if you ever look him up, he talks about manifesting, creating the life you love. He heals people. He does these workshops where people fucking heal illnesses that they've had for years, terminal illnesses, walk out of there fucking healed. And he talks about, he does these like hours long meditations. Like
Right.
you meditate, you get into a trance, into literally different brain wave. Like, you know, there's delta, alpha, gamma, whatever. You get into a certain brain wave, and then you're like manifesting. And he talks about it's not just setting intention. It's not just elevated emotions. It's the intention plus the elevated emotion is what yields results. So you have to have those two ingredients. You have to set an intention, but it has to be high vibrational. What's high vibrational? Elevated emotions, love, compassion, oneness, unity, like all of that. So you have to really feel it, like your body has to be vibrating. And when you're in those brainwave states, that's way higher vibrational. You're way more elevated in those emotions, and you set an intention in that frequency. That's manifesting. That's quantum. That's manifesting.
Right.
So it's really interesting that you said that too. You guys should check.
Joe Dispenza.
Isn't it interesting how it all comes together? You know, God, prayer, manifesting, faith. It's all just different terminology for this.
That's exactly what I was just saying. Like it's different terminology, whether we're talking about like the Holy Spirit or whatever your interpretation of that is, or high vibration, or whatever your interpretation of that. A lot of these are just words, but like every individual person listening can switch that word into, you know, their, you know, almost like your language or the way that you interpret it. But it's all, everybody can actually get into understanding it in their own terminology of what we're saying.
And I think that's why it's taught in so many different ways to reach different people, you know. And I remember when I first started waking up to this stuff years ago, it's, you know how you just get a knowing sometimes. It's just like you feel like someone put a thought in your head randomly. I'm like, you know, they always say it's like God versus science. And I was like, I think God is science. Science is just God's methods of doing things, you know.
Right.
And it's so funny how that just plays out.
I like to look at it as science is just us trying to catch up with God for us to understand him. Like we're trying to catch up, and you know, the science is just proving it. But okay, we can talk forever. Okay, we're gonna have to wrap it up, but we'll keep going into stuff in the after hours. So you guys always watch our after hours. We have a lot of fun. But you know, thank you for turning into Kind of Fake News and you know, getting real with us on this episode. We were definitely getting real and vibrating with each other.
Good one again.
Yes. Then, you know, always smile, learn, wonder, and you know, thanks for tuning in. Bye guys.
Peace out.
Bye.